Good evening, good evening. This is your servant and Senator, Carla Joseph, welcoming you to another segment of my bi-weekly talk show, On Point, heard every other Tuesday from 6 to 6:30 p.m. here on WSTA Radio 1340 AM, the People's Station. Well, I do have a little special guest here with me, but before I introduce you to the special guest who is here, I just wanted to highlight two notable awareness and recognition for this month of April, besides Carnival. This month is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the importance of our communities working together to help families thrive and prevent maltreatment. In a previous legislature, I did work with one of my colleagues, and all of my colleagues, in fact, to really pass legislation to put more teeth in our child abuse laws, and that was passed. And in fact, it is now an act, and we're really happy that that act was able to be passed, and that's Act number 8460, an act amending Title 14 Virgin Islands Code, Chapter 24, Section 504, relating to penalties for child neglect, and to require the convicted persons to attend counseling in addition to imprisonment or fine. So that's law. And so this is, of course, Child Abuse Prevention Month. And then we also have another notable awareness for the month of April, and that's the Sexual Assault Awareness Month, SAM. And it's an annual campaign to raise public awareness about sexual assault and educate communities and individuals on how to prevent sexual violence. So each year during the month of April, our territory, along with the states and tribal community and community-based organization, do a lot of outreach and education regarding these two items, these two matters that really affect our society. So again, this month is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, as well as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Now, to my special guest I have in the studio with me. Her name is Miss Ava Daniel. And you, the listening audience, are aware for the past 2-3 months, I have been really promoting my 3rd annual Black Virgin Islands History Art Competition. And we have a winner. Her name is Miss Ava Daniel, and Ava is an 8th grader attending the Bertha C. Bushelton Middle School, and she is here as my guest. So say good evening to the listening audience, Miss Daniel.
Good evening, everybody. How is everybody doing today?
I'm sure they're doing really fine. And if you were in the studio with me, you would see the winning artwork that Ms. Daniel drew. It's beautiful. It's using some watercolors. And Ms. Daniel, tell us who it's representing.
The painting that I made represents Queen Mary from St. Croix.
Queen Mary from St. Croix. So that's very important. And you wrote an essay about Queen Mary, and what inspired you to really draw about Queen Mary?
The thing that really inspired me to draw about Queen Mary is her story to get better wages during the rebellion.
That's exactly it. And she stood up along with the other queens to really fight for better wages for the workers who are working on the plantations cutting cane. So for those of you in the listening audience, because we are carrying this podcast also on Facebook, the artwork is a very strong depiction of Queen Mary. She has in her, right beside her right shoulder, a flame, with her flame with a stick with fire on top of it, and behind her on the left side there's the cane, and she has on, Miss Daniel drew a really good covering in blue of her, and then you saw a lot of the different colors, but anybody who could walk up to it, and they would see that it's Queen Mary. So we had the award ceremony last evening at Jim Tillett's garden, and we had a really local artist, a renowned local artist and teacher, Mr. Liba Olanihi, as well as Ms. Daniel's teacher, our teacher at Bertha C. Shelter Middle School, Mr. Shem Matthew was there. And you know what was really outstanding is that Mr. Liba Olanihi also taught Mr. Shem Matthew. And here, Mr. Shem Matthew is teaching our young person, our winner of this year's competition, Miss Daniel. I thought it was so great. It's such a generational passing on the torch, the baton of art to a younger generation. And they both were so enthusiastic about it. They were great. And not only that, Miss Daniel invited her entire family. So what could I do? I had to showcase and highlight a talented Virgin Islander, talented young Virgin Islander who is here doing her work, has a great passion. Tell me, Miss Daniel, how did you get involved or interested in drawing and being an artist?
It started when I was 8 years old and I saw other people's art from around different places on the globe, and I got re-inspired to start drawing myself.
Great. And I understand that you get some support from your family members.
Yep, I get a lot of support from my family members, and they give me a lot of support into becoming a bigger artist the more I grow up.
Oh, wonderful. And one of the reasons, my people, I really support young artists is because art inspires us as human beings. It allows us to put a face to something that we believe in or we think about. And art tells a million words, a story of a million words. You could put it in an artistic drawing. You could interpret what this artist is trying to portray, and it feeds into our human motivation. And Ms. Daniel is so great because we just passed a bill on Friday looking at VI history in our schools, and that's one of the things that we're doing. I'm just doing my little part to ensure that we too pass that baton of knowledge along to our young people. And you can see something stuck with Miss Daniel and others, because this is the third annual Black History VI History Month art competition, and this is the second time out of the 3 times we have had a depiction of Queen Mary submitted and won. And secondly, all of the artists, young artists who have won in the art competition were females. So we really want to say congratulations to you again, Ms. Daniel, and we are hoping and looking forward to seeing greater things from you, and keep up the good work. Do not let anything or anyone discourage you from pursuing that passion. Is that going to be your passion, something that you want to really look into as far as a career or partial feed into your career? Do you have a sense yet?
Yes. I'm planning to pursue art in my job in the future. So I'm planning to get into business so I could properly promote my artwork.
Excellent, excellent. And so we really want to say congratulations. Keep up the good work. And of course, my doors are open to support you in any way that I possibly can. So again, congratulations and all the best.
Thank you for giving me this honor of winning in the first place. I have to say thanks to you to also giving me this honor.
And I also want to say thanks to the people of the Virgin Islands for electing me, and of course my campaign committee, as well as my office staff for putting together a really good program last evening. And we really had an awesome time talking about the artwork. Now, getting back to some issues that we have in the government today, the legislature, we sent up about 28 bills to the governor for his review and action. Those are the bills that we worked on tirelessly until 8 o'clock on Friday, April 14, so it can get up to the governor in a timely fashion. Of note in that bill is one of bill actually that I sponsored, which is bill number 35-0006, which is an act honoring and commending former Senator George E. Goodwin for his many years of expansive contributions to the Virgin Islands community as a whole, and through his roles in various areas of service, as well as his advocation for social justice for underserved people in the Virgin Islands, and to rename the cricket grounds located on Parcel H of Track 1 Estate Nazareth in St. Thomas in his honor, as well as, and finally, to convey the medal, the Virgin Islands Medal of Honor on George Goodwin. It is so fitting. He is so deserving of all of these awards and this recognition, because Mr. Goodwin worked tirelessly for no money, volunteer, to really provide an avenue for individuals who had migrated from the Eastern Caribbean islands primarily, but other individuals who had migrated here to the Virgin Islands shores as well, to allow them to have their children educated in the public school system. Before, the children were not allowed to be educated. Children of immigrants and who were born outside of the United States were not allowed to go into the public school system. And he fought that, and a court case came about wherein they won their case. And that court case, let me see here, was Hosier versus Evans. And this was a ruling in 1970 by then District Court Judge Almeric Christian, which ruled that non-immigrant children were entitled to attend public schools in the Virgin Islands. So children who were immigrants, children whose parents were immigrants and they too were immigrants, were allowed to enter into the public school system. That's a major case, and he is really responsible for that. And also he had a number of pieces of legislation, and one that really comes to mind is the legislation he passed and he championed to have the University of the Virgin Islands to be used as a first avenue when the government is doing any type of studies or evaluation, we have to use the University of the Virgin Islands first, and then we go externally to any other bidders. But we have to first utilize the University of the Virgin Islands, which is homegrown. So that's one. And then of course another major item he championed was a shopper's visa. The shopper's visa was very important, and it still is important because we do have that relationship with our Eastern Caribbean partners and peers and family members, as well as right across the aisle with the British Virgin Islands. So that's very important, and it helps build our economic stability. Our economy grows when we have persons coming into the Virgin Islands to shop. And one thing I was noted, because I was his chief of staff when he served in the legislature, I believe it was the 23rd legislature. Wow, and here we are in the 35th. The 23rd legislature, is that he had a trade conference. We had a number of persons from the Eastern Caribbean region, also the National Black Caucus of state legislators. They were involved in it, and it had a really good trade conference. It was very robust. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, was involved. It was just a great opportunity to see that trade conference, and that was held at the Marriott's Frenchman's Reef. I also want to talk just briefly about our huge, this is the big lady in the room on what we considered last week Friday was the line of credit to allow the government to really pay off our debt for VTOL. I know some people had a lot of questions about it. The governor originally asked for a line of credit for $150 million. We said no, let's put it down a little bit, not too conservative, but to reduce that amount. So they're going to get the initial $45 million to pay VTOL in good faith, and after that they're going to look at getting reimbursed from federal funds to pay the remaining $100 million, and to look at fast tracking a lot of our other recovery programs and projects rather that we have on the table. The government is in a very good position. There's a great chance that, and they have spoken to the federal partners for us to look at getting some of the monies back, getting the money back. So that's a really good thing. But the most important thing for me, and why I voted in support of the amendment, and my name is on it, is that VTOL in itself, based on where we're at, we aren't able to purchase any propane from any other vendor. We have to take what they give us. And they're not giving us the lowest cost and the lowest price for the propane because we are locked in with this agreement. Once we pay off VTOL, we tell them, sayonara. You go back where you come from. We're done with you. Let's look at some other vendors and see and get a lower price for the propane, because we have our new generation of generators for WAPA. They can use diesel and they can use propane. And right now, propane is at a lower cost. So we want the lowest cost for our customers. We want the lowest cost for our constituents, the ratepayers, which includes you and I. So definitely we want to say sayonara to VTOL, because they had us against the wall. Our back was backed up. We can't get a low good price on any propane. We are just locked in with whatever they give us. No, let's get rid of them. Say sayonara. We don't want to have anything to do with you, and I think that's the best deal. And two, we we aren't giving them all that they wanted. They wanted over $200 million, I think would have been whole. Oh, yeah. We're giving them $145 million based on negotiations. And the $45 million is up front. And then we can tell them, okay, we're going to get some of the money back that we give them from the $145 million from the federal government. So we could just say goodbye. It's just not working for us. It's not working in the best interest of the ratepayers, and we can't afford to increase the LEAC right now. That's something else. The other thing is, we had passed a bill some time ago, and it was vetoed by the governor. And so what we did is we actually put some money in there, that the governor put some teeth in this bill, and it is actually Act 8471, that the governor should hire, the governor needs to hire engaged services of a utility turnaround management company, which I quoted and I said on the floor that this is administrative receivership, because when you hire a turnaround company, and this is not anything abnormal, this happens to public utility companies that are not doing good. WAPA, it was revealed last year in the Committee on Government Operations, owes its vendors, they haven't been paying their vendors, over $220 million, and it's probably more by now, because that was as of September, I believe, September of last year. So they haven't been paying their vendors, to include Vidal. So that was some of the issues we had there. Also, I want to mention that I had an opportunity last week, Wednesday, the Committee on Government Operation Veterans Affairs. The Office of Veteran Affairs falls under the purview of the committee I chair, and what we were able to do, we attended a town hall meeting last week, Wednesday, April 12th, at Niski Fellowship Hall, and it was coordinated, it was very well coordinated by the Office on Veterans Affairs, and it was for women, just women veterans, and that was well attended. One of the issues that were coming out again is relative to females and receiving health care, getting their lab works in timely to their primary care provider, transportation again to the VA. Payment of those medical transportation and travel is of an issue. And of course, supporting veteran health. One of the items that came to light from the committee meeting I held on March 20th was that the legislature, what we did for fiscal year, the 34th legislature, what we did for the fiscal year 2022 budget is that we placed in the line item for the veterans medical and burial service that it remains available until expended. So what came to light in that meeting is that for fiscal year 2022, the Office on Veterans Affairs reported that they had rolled over to fiscal year 2023 a remaining balance from the fiscal year 2022 budget of $84,000. So I said, oh, so our test, because we tested them to see if they would have any monies left over, because there was a little bit of an uncertainty on how much money was being left over, and we want to assure that we are supporting our veterans, those men and women who sacrifice themselves and go to military, and they do such great work. They come back and they need the help. Some of them are have issues that are service connected. So we wanted to make sure that our veterans are well taken care of here in the Virgin Islands. So we had it roll over. And what I did is for the fiscal year 2023, which we're in now, any monies that remain for the fiscal year 2023 will now remain in that fund, until it is expended. The time is really getting away from me this evening, and I had so much to report to you, the public, but I want to also, because I have a young person here, I also want to highlight another initiative my office has taken since I got elected in 2020 and I was sworn into office in 2021. It's that time of the year, summertime. And so my office again is sponsoring a summer youth employment opportunity program. It's geared towards young people ages 16 to 24. And we offer training with our employer partners already. The Virgin Islands Hotel and Tourism Association have reached out, and so they can expect 2 young people from us, and we train, and they're going to provide really great training and hands-on employment opportunity to 2 young people. We also are reaching out to a number of other partners to partner with us so that we can definitely provide this opportunity for young people to be engaged in the area of work, make connections and with other individuals, network with, other established business people, community-minded people as well, and so that they could develop good work ethics and understand a system of business, especially when it comes to punctuality and communication. Conduct is a major issue too that we look at. One of the other things that we look at is conduct and how you dress. We also offer a financial literacy skills for our program, as well as job readiness skills. So we teach our young people. We have 2 workshops that we sponsor while our young people are engaged and are participating in the Summer Youth Employment Program, job readiness skills workshop, as well as a financial literacy workshop. Now, if you are a parent, a student, guardian, and you are looking to have your young person get employed, get these skills, and be a part of the Summer Youth Employment Opportunity Program, they have to be age 16 to 24 first, and then they can download the application from my website, which is senatorcarlajoseph.com, and then email it to me at Senator Carla Joseph at legvi virginislands.org. That's again Senator Carla Joseph at legvi.org. You should send your applications there. The deadline to submit your applications is May 16th, 2023. Now, know that some of our young people who are on the program from previous years have already sent in their applications. So we know to expect them. They had an enjoyable time. They learned a lot. They really get excited about being a part of our program. So again, we're going to have them on board our program once again. Well, the time has closed in on us for this evening on Point. But again, I want to say thank you to Ms. Ava Daniel, our winner of the Black History, Virgin Island History Month art competition, and wish her all the best in her future endeavors. And please join us on May 4th for another segment of On Point, which is heard every other Tuesday from 6 to 6:30 p.m. here on WSTA 1340 AM, the People Station. I would like to take this opportunity to really thank my staff. Also to thank members of the Joseph Action Committee. And if you're interested, you can also reach out to me on Facebook at Senator Carla J. Joseph, my website, senatorcarlajoseph.com. You can email me at senatorcarlajoseph@ledgevi.org. And of course, you can give me a call in my office at 340-693-3515. Let me repeat that number again. 340-693-3515. Thank you for joining me for another segment of On Point. I'd like again to thank my staff and my committee members, being thank you. And thank you to the listening audience for listening in. On Point, again, can be heard every Tuesday from 6 to 6:30 p.m. here on WSTA. Together, let's stay on point, Virgin Islands. God bless you all. Good night, and tune in for On Point again on May 4th, 2023. Thank you so much.